Hello, I'm Chris, and today we're going to be teaching you how to teach a dog to cock its leg or lift its leg. It's quite a fun trick. People are quite horrified, especially if they're indoors, because they cannot understand that it's simply a trick of lifting his leg. They think that he's going to need to eliminate. He knows he's got to lift his leg. He has no connection at all to actually passing urine on anything, so don't panic if you teach this trick. It doesn't mean they're going to cock their leg or actually urinate on anything, which is why it's quite a fun one, especially if you tell them to do it up somebody's leg. Leg, last one. Good boy, thank you very much. Good lad. So, teaching this one, I'm just going to move that out of the way for now. The dog needs to have some back end awareness. So it needs to know that it does things with its back end. Now, in earlier on tricks, we showed you how to teach them how to do a handstand. Okay, so that was teaching them about back end awareness, walking back up something. So all I did for Duffy was captured his leg lifting before he got his other leg up. So it was a very simple way of doing it, but obviously that's because he had the handstand trick. Quite a good visual cue is to actually, good boy, cock your leg yourself as well. He's mirroring you then. The other way to do it, I'm going to stick a bit of food and I'll do a little bit of tickle. Yes, good girl. It's quite hard to get them just to target their back feet. She's going into the bend that we were doing before. Yes, good girl, well done. It's just awareness to pick her foot up. Come here. I'm just tickling his back feet. Yes. And it's fine if she's happy and relaxed picking her foot up, just to move your hand up and down slightly. And as you can see, she was very comfortable with that. Yes, good girl, well done. Very nice, young lady. Yes. Yep. Something that's called modelling, but not in the traditional way that we know it. I'm not forcing her to do anything. Yes, good girl, well done. I'm not using the clicker because it's in this hand right next to her ear, so I don't want to deafen her. So I'm marking it with a yes instead. Yes, good girl, well done. So eventually what we'll do is hold off and see if she'll actually offer placing her foot in my hand. Yes, you see her legs very relaxed. Good girl. Well done, miss. So what I'm trying to do is see if I can hold on and get her to voluntarily lift her foot up. She's nearly there with it. She's thinking about the food, too much of the front end, but if I don't have the food the front end, she's going away from me. Yes, good girl. I'm going to give it to you for that. I know you moved away a bit. So we're waiting for the foot to come up. Yes, good girl, yes, well done. I would tend to put it on a voice cue fairly quickly and transfer it fairly quickly as well, just because you could be at this stage otherwise forever and not move it on. Yes. So I'd name it. So lift or leg or whatever. Yes, good girl. So I'm actually starting to say leg to her now. Leg. Yes, good girlie. So she's associating the word leg with this movement. Leg. Yes, good girl. Because then we can kind of transfer it possibly onto something like this. Good girl. Ooh, what's that? Good girl, target. Come here. Do exactly the same, but I've got this little thing next to me. Leg. Leg. Yes, good girl. So I'm actually transferring it onto an object fairly quickly. Put it just in front because they lift their leg. Yes, good girl. Good girl, well done. Very clever. What I'm looking for is her to almost voluntarily lift her leg onto it. Good girl. Come here. But I don't think she's quite at that stage yet. So once they are, and it's not going to take long for her to transfer, because you can see her leg's very mobile. She leaves it there quite happily. These are just ways of getting them aware of their back end, really. Yes, good boy. Can you see there? He lifted his foot right up there. Good boy. Back, back. Good boy. Well done. That was it. So you're actually asking him to walk back onto something. Oh, good boy. Good boy. Come here. Back. I'm saying back to him, and back up is his handstand cue, which is obviously transferred. Good boy. Get him really confident with what he's been picking his leg up on, first of all. Then what I might do, if I'm using something like this, is actually stick it on something to make it a little bit higher. So for example, something like that. Duffy, and ask them to do leg. Good boy. So we're actually asking him to lift his leg up a little bit higher there, because the small target has got higher, and then gradually you'd build it up until eventually we're putting this target onto something like this. And although we know physically he can't get his leg up to it, if you use something like a piece of carpet tile or something like that, you can cut it down. So eventually there's barely any target, and then he's going to generalise it to items just on the verbal cue of leg. Means I see that item and I go and lift my leg on it. Thank you, Duffy. Thank you.